Hey everybody, my name is Jared Tate, the founder of the DigiByte blockchain. Today is Thursday, April 25th, 2024, and I'm coming to you with a quick DigiByte development update. But before I get into that, if you're brand new to DigiByte, welcome to the DigiByte community. DigiByte is a 10+ year-old, truly decentralized blockchain. There is no centralized company, there are no employees. DigiByte is as decentralized as it gets. It's 40 times faster than Bitcoin. It's got 5 independent mining algorithms for greater mining decentralization. And we've pioneered a lot of awesome technology and use cases over the past decade. If you want to learn more, go to digibyte.org or head on over to the DigiByte community Discord or Telegram or numerous places, X and other platforms. DigiByte is decentralized, so DigiByte community members are everywhere. With that, I want to keep this video kind of short and give you kind of a summary of where we are. If you've watched my previous videos, you know that we just released DigiByte version 8.22 RC4, which we're getting very close to a final release of version 8.22. It's been many years in the works. However, over this last week and a half, it appears we may have some mining issues. Now, the problem is I'm not exactly sure what's going on. I haven't seen any concrete descriptions by anyone, but I am seeing some feedback in the Discord and through people I'm talking to that we could have some mining issues. So just to summarize real quick, to get 8.22 out, we decided to delay the Taproot upgrade until we get a final version out, and then we can activate it later. And in the meantime, with that release, we decided to disable Dandelion in exchange for people setting up more Tor nodes. So if you haven't done that yet, let me actually minimize this video here so I can go to my outline. I use OBS, so I have to manually come over here. Maybe somebody knows a better way to move it around, but it works for videos. It's working for me. So anyway, if you haven't seen the RC4 yet and you haven't downloaded it, you can come here to GitHub. If you go to the main repository over on the right hand side here, you can click releases and you come down to RC4 and you can see all the things that have changed. You can look up the various commits and you can actually go here and you can click assets, and that's how you can basically download the RC4. So we could use help testing and test mining specifically. I don't know exactly what kind of issues we're running into, but I will say that I've decided to put up the old DigiHash pool. For those of you that may remember it, I had it for several years. It just got too costly. It was basically costing me about $300 a month because, as I'll show you in a second, you have to run multiple instances of DigiByte D, which is the server version of the DigiByte core wallet. So you end up with quite a few resources that are needed for that server. Anyway, I'm currently in the process of getting DigiHash set back up so we can fully test mine version 8.22 RC4. Again, we haven't done RC4, but we've done RC1 and RC2. And basically help troubleshoot to see exactly what's going on, because we definitely don't want to release version 8.22 if we're going to have some mining issues or concerns. So once again, there's been some comments on some messages that basically say people are running into issues. If you are a miner and you're running into RC4 issues, please create a GitHub issue. You can find that up here under issues under DigiByte Core. This really will help us discern what's going on. And I need to confess that I haven't really mined DigiByte, in a couple years now. So mining has become a bit of a black hole in that there's people doing it, obviously, because that's what keeps us hashing away from block to block. But it seems over the last several years, miners have become a little bit more reserved and pulled back and don't like to share their settings and information. So if you are a miner and you could help us test mine RC4 or give us some feedback, that would be great. Now, the last few days, I've actually started working on setting up this DigiHash pool, and I realized that our change where we made the wallet default away from the legacy wallets to the new descriptor wallet is actually breaking a lot of infrastructure with existing mining pools. And it looks like I'm going to have to rewrite several parts of the DigiHash mining pool in order to get it to work with descriptor wallets. So I know I'm not the only one running into this issue, and this could be why some of the miners are having issues with RC4, and it's something that we need to take a hard look at, because there could be other infrastructure that the move away from legacy wallets to the new descriptor wallets breaks. And I personally think it's a good idea not to be breaking so much legacy infrastructure, especially mining pools, potentially exchanges. Pretty much every exchange I know is still relying on legacy wallet address structure. So if we're potentially, getting listed on new exchanges somewhere, that could be an issue. So we want to make it as easy as possible. So I'm talking with the other developers, and we may actually revert that change and go back to having legacy wallets by default. Now, I know that causes some other issues with the Berkeley DB versus SQLite and potentially some other mempools issues. We need to really diagnose that and get to the bottom of that. But for the time being, I'm going to try and work through this, but it's probably going to take me a while. It's already taking longer than I expected. And in fact, when it comes up to setting a mining pool, DigiHash, with just 4 of DigiByte's 5 mining algorithms, if I turn this off here, whoops, wrong one, and I turn on, this is actually 4 instances of DigiByte D, which is the server version of the core wallet running and updating and syncing in real time. This is on a virtual machine that I'm renting. But I'm actually tapping out the resources on this VM, which, as you can see here, I've got 16 gigabytes of memory, and I've pretty well almost used them all, and I'm maxing out the CPUs. So I'm actually going to have to double the size of this server to the, I think, 32 gigabytes of RAM and 8 cores in order to actually even run this test and get a test mining pool up. And that's actually a little spendy, and that's actually why I shut DigiHash down before. It was costing about $300 a month, and it wasn't even breaking even. The next size up on AWS, I think, will cost me over $200, and that's not including the cost to rent test miners, which in the past, every time we've released a version of DigiByte, I've actually set up my own mining pool and I've test mined, and I've spent as much as a few $1,000s renting hash to mine DigiByte and get several blocks over a few days to make sure the next version is stable. So that's a little difficult for me to swing right now. So if you can help point some miners at DigiHash in the coming days, I'll put out more information on X and probably have them send out a message on Telegram when I'm ready for it. But if you're a miner and you've got some mining hardware, we could really use that as developers. The hardest part for us to test, we can test on testnet, we can test on RegTest locally, but we really should test in the wild on the blockchain, out there, and do some real mining, especially before we release a major version. So if you could help with that, that would be a huge help. Let me go back here. So that's kind of where we're at. We're at a phase where we need more involvement for the community. If you've got contacts at mining pools, or you are a mining pool, or some sort of other wallet host, provider, server, exchange, we could really use your feedback, because us as core devs, we can do things that sound great, like, oh yeah, we should move to the new descriptor wallets. That makes a lot of sense. But, we're not deploying and running a lot of this existing infrastructure to support the network. And so that's why I try and do stuff like set up my own mining pool. And I realize, oh wait, this actually breaks a lot of places in the mining pool, and I would almost assume maybe this is some of the issues miners are running into with all the changes that 8.22 has, from descriptor wallets to multi-wallet management and more. So with that, please help us out. And, if you, going back to my previous video, in exchange for disabling Dandelion, we want to get more Tor nodes set up. If you haven't already and you have had any issues, please let us know. I think we still need to make a few commits to get the Tor functionality smoothed out. So those are the 2 main holdups right now. Is like, let's absolutely make sure there's no issues with mining, because that is the backbone of the security of the entire blockchain. So it's very important. And then number 2, let's get more Tor node infrastructure out there for privacy. So with that, I'll keep this video short. I have committed to working basically 20 to 30 hours a week on DigiByte part-time. I have other part-time work I'm working on, but if you would like to help fund me work, here's my DigiByte address, here's a PayPal and Zelle, and like I said, just me setting up this test pool is probably going to cost me about $500 by the time it's said and done. So this is an expense that in the past I've paid out of pocket. But you know, now I'm to the point where I got to pay the bills like everybody else, so I could use all the help you could send my way. And I want to thank everybody who has helped contribute over the last month and a half. But anyway, with that, I will try and do a video next week, and I would love to do a live Q&A session either on YouTube or maybe in other Twitter Spaces in the coming week. I know a lot of people in the community had some questions and concern they wanted to get addressed. You know, I would love to do that. I think the more discourse we can get going as a community, the better. And to conclude, I want to thank everybody that's working behind the scenes on various apps, use cases, core development, exchange listings. There's a lot going on. There's a lot of people doing a lot of things, even things I'm not aware of. And that's what makes DigiByte truly decentralized and a grassroots-driven global community. So with that, like I said, I want to keep this short. Thank you all again. Till next time, stay decentralized.